Your home of the Indians is right here. News Radio, WTAM 1100. Ken, you're on the air.
Hey, Rick, how are you?
Just fantabulous.
That Betsy newscaster woman's married to that stupidest man in Cleveland broadcasting they put on with Carol Chandler on the early morning news. That Paul guy that's filling in for John Anderson while he's filling in for Tim, who's off to war. You seen that yet? It makes Carol Chandler go from being the comic to being the serious one.
Yes, I have seen him. I did not realize that's Betsy's husband.
Yep, that's what I hear. So.
Well, you know what's funny? A lot of companies, I mean, John Anderson and doesn't his wife work there too?
Yeah, Kristen Anderson.
Right.
She's pretty.
Okay, and so then you got Betsy Kling and her husband working there, and I mean, a lot of companies, they say we don't want to hire husband-wife teams because they fight and argue like Doug Adair and Mona Scott.
And it makes firing one of them awkward. You got to get rid of both of them or let one go, and they puts a strain on the whole.
Gary D. and Liz Richards.
Kaboom.
Yeah.
Hey. But what I called about was automotive industry.
Yes, sir.
This country is just crippled economically. Ford, GM, all these people are not building anything. It's a mess.
It's also a mess when you look at 0% financing and all that sort of thing. And I'm thinking, well, how does Chrysler Credit make any money? Or how does Ford Motor Credit get any money out of that? Or how does GMAC make money on that? Now, I realize you got to have a credit rating of like 700 or something to qualify for 0% financing. But still, and look at all the lease cars that are coming back, and they can't get rid of them. And look at the auto auctions. I talk to people in the industry, and they say, you go there, and nobody's buying anything.
And beyond that, the supplying these people has turned into an information grab. You brought up, you didn't say New World Order yet, some other name for it when you're talking.
1,000 points of light?
Yeah, and all this. Let me tell you, you've heard of this ISO certification stuff?
Yeah.
You guys run some ad about some Delta Dental being the first ISO certified, blah, 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 blah. Well, this is how the car companies and the people that run this world are grabbing the information of how people make things and giving it to the richest people. Daimler Chrysler, to sell to them now, which the company I work for does, demand your formulation. Not just, hey, what's in the stuff so our workers can be safe. How do we make this exactly? Where's free enterprise? Where's, entrepreneurship?
How about this story? The nation's economic slump and corporate scandals have cost investors big bucks. It's barely put a dent in executive paychecks. The mid-range CEO salary and bonus package rose 10% in 2002.
That's the giant sucking sound.
And that doesn't count stock options, enhanced pensions, and long-term incentive plans like Dick Cheney's got with Halliburton.
Who said the pen was mightier than the sword? Was it Mark Twain or Bob Dylan or
Ben Franklin or Betsy Ross or somebody? I don't know.
How much can you steal? How much can you take away? I can't help but think about
Walt Whitman.
Well, I think you're right. But you know what this whole fiasco and scenario reminds me of is Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand about the do-nothings taking from the people that think and create and do. It's really frustrating.
No, and it's also the Peter principle. People get promoted until they're completely ineffective, but by that point they're, I guess, so heavily ingrained in the company that they're so necessary we couldn't do without them.
Speaking about the Peter principle in relation to WTAM and Mr. Trevisano, is he really going to go up and compete against Howard Stern?
I have no clue. I think that was an April Fool's joke.
He should count his lucky stars. I mean, my God. Actually, it'd be good we'd get the guy off the air finally. But he would have been buried trying to go up against Howard.
Well, I like Mike. We disagree sometimes, but he's a good feller.
He is. But Craig, I don't know. You are the thinking man's host.
All right, thanks, Ken.
Have a good night, Rick.
All right, you too.
I love Rick Gilmour. He's a good friend of mine. Well, he's a friend of mine. He's not a good friend of mine. He's a friend of mine, and I like him, okay? When he talks about the war, he sounds like an imbecile.
Is that so?